What up, everybody? What up, everybody? What up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of AC Reviews the World. We are at episode 40 right now. And remember, I am your host, AC the Engineer. Let's give it a round of applause. Yep. We're episode 40 now. A little later than usual because I didn't have to work today. So that's why 8:30. But hey, we got a lot of things. Like always, we got a lot of things to talk about, a lot of things to discuss. We got the killer from the Maryland team, the killer, so he was charged. We got Trump coming up with the Department of War instead of the Department of Defense. And we got just a wide variety of things. More McDonald killers. We got a lot of McDonald crash outs lately. And just a wide variety of things. Wide variety. But like always, we got to discuss it together and review the world together. Remember to go ahead and hit that like button, that notification bell, subscribe button, so you can keep up to date with all the crazy things that are happening around the world. But you know how I like to do it? I like to jump right into it. First thing we're going to get into today, the first thing, we have to talk about the Maryland team killer. So let's get over into that and see get rid of that. DaCara Thompson, and the killer was charged. So let's get over into that video. We got that video, and then we got another one to look at where her mother is speaking out. So, hey, we got a lot of things to talk about, but at the end of the day, there are some sick human beings in this world. There's some very sick human beings, and this could have been prevented. Let's get into it.
The man accused of killing 19-year-old DaCara Thompson will face a judge for the first time.
Randy Ayala is outside the courthouse in Upper Marlboro with more on the suspect and what we're learning from the court documents. Good morning, Randy.
Yeah, good morning. Hugo Hernandez-Mendez will face a judge for a bond hearing 1:15 this afternoon. The court will determine if he should remain behind bars. The 35-year-old is now charged with first and second degree murder. Now, county officials tell us that he is originally from Guatemala. He's been living in the country illegally. Investigators believe he killed DaCara Thompson inside his Bowie home early the morning of August 23rd, then drove her body to Route 50 between Route 424 and 97 in Annapolis and threw her over a bridge. The court documents show Hernandez-Mendez told police he was at the Galaxy nightclub on University Boulevard. That's across the street from where DaCara was seen on surveillance video getting in his black SUV. Now, he claims he was supposed to meet his ex-girlfriend but never did. He denied any involvement in DaCara's murder and then asked for a lawyer. Now, nonprofit Prince George's County, that's where DaCara worked, releasing a statement saying in part, quote, "We are devastated, hurt, saddened, and angry by this tragic and senseless loss. Our hearts and prayers are with DaCara's family and loved ones during this unimaginable time." Now, U.S. Park Police, we learned, arrested Hernandez-Mendez back in April on a DUI charge. Prince George's County Executive Aisha Braveboy telling us he was not under an ICE detainer, and the federal government made the decision to release him pending his trial. Now, investigators have not said how DaCara was killed. We do know that a GoFundMe set up by her family with hopes of hiring a private investigator at the time has now reached more than $25,000, which the family says will now go towards funeral costs for DaCara. Of course, we'll be inside the courtroom. We'll let you know what happens later this afternoon. Back to you.
All right, Randy.
Absolutely crazy. Now, so if we remember from the last time, she willingly got into his vehicle. We don't know why she willingly got into his vehicle, but she did. And then drove away. And then he did the unthinkable, taking her life. We don't know how yet, but it's a very tragic situation. I still want to know the reason why she got into her vehicle. Did she know him? Was it something like, hate to say it, but was it something like prostitution? We don't know. I don't want to put any bad things on her name or anything like that. But why was she getting into that vehicle? A lot of questions. Maybe they were dating. We don't know. Well, we just got to wait to find out more information about it. Let's get over into the next one with her mother and see what this has to talk about.
She had just turned 19 years old prior to this unfortunate circumstance. She was working under Westmore's Maryland Year Service Corps option, whatever it's called, program. She had just completed a year-long internship in which she was very successful. She did a great job. She was a kind of an outgoing, soft-spoken, kind young lady. She was a free spirit. She was a good girl. She was a good kid. So there's been a lot of people disparaging her character on social media and things as such. Please don't believe everything you see. Don't believe everything you hear. Out of respect for the family and us grieving, please, approach everything with grace. We would appreciate that.
Ma'am, do you have any thoughts about this notion that this guy was arrested by Park Police and released back in April?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
This man, Mr. Hernandez Mendez,
Yes.
was arrested by the United States Park Police for drunk driving in April 25th on the BW Parkway. He was subsequently released. There was no check of his immigration status or anything like that. There were no warrants at the time, no detainers. But he was in federal custody. And then he was released. And he's in the country without proper documentation.
Right.
And now they've filed.
I'm very disappointed, finding that out now, because we may not be here today if they did what they were supposed to do.
That's very understandable. Yes, there is a possibility that we would not have been here today if he was held, and then instead of getting released, he was gone to ICE detainership. But we're not there. Well, it's too late for that. But let's keep going into this video.
Is there any indication that the victim may have known this person or crossed paths with
Nope, that's a good question.
Let me again say that I just want to be clear, and out of respect for the family as well, any questions regarding the nature of the investigation would be harmful to our investigation at this particular point. So I want to make sure that we don't delve into any of that information.
Okay.
I will say you asked a question earlier. As always, there'll be an autopsy that's performed as a part of the investigation.
Last questions, Katie.
Carmen, and then a follow-up from Madam State's Attorney. The family often has a long journey after a crime like this happens, and they have to relive the trauma as the case moves forward, and the victims have to outlive the crime itself. Is the family prepared for what's about to happen in the coming months and the grueling work of retelling the story, working with investigators, everything that's to come?
That's a tough question. That's a tough question because we know it's going to be extremely hard. We just ask that everybody pray for our strength through the process.
And Madam State's Attorney, the DC U.S. Attorney has blamed Maryland for crime in the district and for guns coming into the county. Have you seen any change recently given the surge in the district just across the border in Maryland, or anything that has been different after the national troops have been in the district?
All I'll say to that is that we continue to work with our law enforcement partners, both in Prince George's County and in the district, to make sure that we're protecting the residents of this county. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wow. Yep, tragic story. Like always, we gotta pray for the family, pray for anyone who's grieving. But there's still a lot of questions that have to be answered. So if we go over to one of the most recent articles I could find, so we'll look at this just to update. The man who was accused. Hold on, let's get over this. The man who was accused of killing the 19-year-old. I don't know what that video is on the side, but the man who was accused of killing the 19-year-old, DaCara Thompson, last month was held without bond after his first court appearance on Monday in Prince George, Maryland. Hugo Hernandez Martinez, 35, was charged in Thompson's murder on Friday after prosecution accused him of driving Thompson to his home in Bauer, killing her in the bedroom, and then leaving her body in a grassy area near Route 50. I'm not good at names. In Anna County, investigators are still trying to put together the last hours of Thompson's life. According to the court documents, surveillance video shows her park her SUV and walk into the parking lot near the Family Dollar store in Langley Park. She spoke to the driver of another vehicle, then got into the vehicle front passenger seat around 3 a.m. So yeah, those are the questions we have. Why did she get into that vehicle, and what exactly was going on? Court records indicate that Hernandez threw Thompson's body over the South River Bridge on Route 50, a drop of more than 30 feet, and that her family had numerous fractures. The motives of the murder are still under investigation, and the acting Prince George County Sheriff's State Attorney Tara Jackson says an autopsy is pending. So he was arrested in the 12,000 block of Cambridge Drive, where he is a renter, and authorities believe Thompson was killed there and her body was moved. Absolutely crazy. There are some sick human beings in this world. And ladies, you have to be careful. You have to be careful of who you interacting with, who you're getting in the car with, because you never know what can happen. You never know what can happen. But we'll keep up with this to see any more information, because I truly want to know why she was getting in the car. That's the question I have. Why was she getting in the car? And what? Yeah. The main question is, why was she getting in the car? And did they have a prior relationship? It's a lot of things to think about. But let me know if you disagree with anything I said. Let me know if you think I'm wrong. Let me know if you think it was just a random killing. Just let me know your thoughts, everybody. Let me know your thoughts. Absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. But we got to pivot. We got to pivot over into, yes, the Department of War. Changing the name of the Department of Defense to Department of War. It's Trump's latest thing that he's trying to do. So let's get over that. We got a few videos to look at for this. So let's jump over into that and see what we're talking about. See what it's talking about.
I think that's a big one, I'll be honest.
After winning a war for independence in 1789, George Washington established the War Department, and Henry Knox was his first Secretary of War. And this country won every major war after that, to include World War I and World War II. Total victory, Mr. President, as you said. Then 150 years after that, we changed the name after World War II from the Department of War to the Department of Defense in 1947. And as you pointed out, Mr. President, we haven't won a major war since, and that's not to disparage our warfighters, whether it's the Korean War, the Vietnam War, or our generation of Iraq and Afghanistan. That's to recognize that this name change is not just about renaming, it's about restoring. Words matter. It's restoring, as you've guided us to, Mr. President, restoring the warrior ethos, restoring victory and clarity as an end state, restoring intentionality to the use of force.
See, okay, that's a good point. I did not know that we were originally had war in the name originally. So, and then they later changed it 150 years later to Department of Defense. And now Trump wants to change it back or have war included in the name Department of War. So I didn't know that. Let's get over it.
So at your direction, Mr. President, the War Department is going to fight decisively, not endless conflicts. It's going to fight to win, not to lose. We're going to go on offense, not just on defense. Maximum lethality, not tepid legality. Violent effect, not politically correct. We're going to raise up warriors, not just defenders. So this War Department, Mr. President, just like America, is back. Thank you for your leadership and your clarity. We're going to set the tone for this country. America first, peace through strength, brought to you by the War Department. We're back.
All right, thank you very much. Very well stated. And really it has to do with winning. We should have won every war. We could have won every war, but we really chose to be very politically correct or wokey. And we just fight forever. And then we'd, win, we wouldn't lose, really. We just fight to sort of tie. We never wanted to win wars that every one of them we would have won easily with just a couple of little changes or a couple of little edicts.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay up.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. I did not know that it was originally called the War Department. Then they changed it to the Department of Defense. Now he's trying to change it back to the Department of War. Instead of getting from defending, we're just going to be raising warriors. I'm not sure how people feel about it, but let's get over into this next video and see what it's talking about. So this looks like he's starts removing.
The administration pushing to rename the Department of Defense. CBS News Miami's Nicole Killian reports this comes as the president's former Surgeon General and others calling for the president to fire Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
President Trump took a step on Friday to return the Defense Department to its old name, the Department of War.
We won the First World War, we won the Second World War, we won everything before that and in between, and then we decided to go woke and we changed the name to Department of Defense. So we're going Department of War.
It was called the Department of War through World War II and officially became the Defense Department in 1949.
I think it's a much more appropriate name, especially in light of where the world is right now.
Signs were promptly swapped out at the Pentagon as the executive order also moves to change the title of Secretary of Defense to Secretary of War.
It's restoring, as you've guided us to, Mr. President, restoring the warrior ethos, restoring victory and clarity as an end state.
After a contentious hearing on Capitol Hill this week, calls are mounting for Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. to go, amid concerns over the agency's vaccine policy and a leadership shakeup at the CDC.
Now, okay, yep. So we've talked about this before. There's some things I agree with Trump, some things that I don't with his administration in general, but getting rid of, because Florida is trying to get rid of all mandatory vaccines. Go watch that video I posted before, but there are some vaccines that, yes, we do. There are some vaccines that are, how do I say this, that need more research on. But there are some things, good measles and everything like that. We just had a measles outbreak not too long ago. Let's keep going, though.
On Saturday, Trump's former Surgeon General Jerome Adams told CNN that Kennedy should absolutely be fired over what he called Kennedy's dangerous policies. The president is standing by Secretary Kennedy for now. Meantime, the president made a major announcement here at the White House. He says the U.S. will host world leaders for the G20 summit in Miami next year. The president said Friday his golf course and spa in Doral will host the summit at cost and will receive no profit from the State Department or a foreign government. The gathering is scheduled for December 2026. Nicole Killian, CBS News, the White House.
Absolutely wild. So, like they mentioned before, the getting back to the old name, Department of War. And it looks like a lot of people are talking about, because he's going over to, everybody's talking about him going to sending the National Guard to Chicago. Some people are talking about that. So let's get over into that.
This weekend, defiance on display across the country. People protesting President Trump's plans to send the National Guard and immigration agents into Democratic-run cities. In a Latino neighborhood near Chicago's South Side, a parade in honor of Mexican Independence Day lined with volunteers ready to sound the alarm at any sign of federal agents from ICE.
3 whistles consecutively means that there is ICE sighting. 1 continuous whistle, long whistle, means that someone is getting arrested.
Do you think you'll have to use it? No, I have not had to use it, and I hope we don't.
The community now on alert following President Trump's threats to send federal forces into the country's 3rd largest city.
Chicago is a hellhole right now. We're going in. I didn't say when. We're going in.
The president citing crime as his rationale, and on Saturday posting what appeared to be an AI-generated image of himself in front of the Chicago skyline in flames.
That was wild. Hold on. We got to back that up a tad. You know we do. It says, I love the smell of deportation in the morning. Chicago about to find out why it's called the Department of War. That's a wild tweet. That's a wild tweet. But let's get on to it.
AI-generated image of himself in front of the Chicago skyline in flames and the phrase, "Shipocalypse now," saying, quote, I love the smell of deportations in the morning, and quote, Chicago about to find out why it's called the Department of War. But data from the Chicago Police Department shows crime is down 15% over the past 2 years. Murder and robbery down more than 35%.
Truthfully, I think he barks more than he bites. I think he likes making threats. I think he likes to put fear in people's hearts and minds.
And one of the protesters telling me fear is contagious, but also saying so is courage. And Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker responding to President Trump yesterday, posting this tweet, which says the president of the United States is threatening to go to war with an American city. This is not a joke. This is not normal. Willie?
And many experts pointing out there's a clear constitutional problem for the president here, making it different than Washington. Adrian brought us in Chicago. Adrian, thanks so much.
Hey, yep, that is absolutely correct. So there is what I've done and what I've seen, or through the research that I've done. He can't just send over the National Guard just like he did with Washington, D.C., since it's not the capital. So he has to go through different rules and regulations for him to send over the National Guard. Now, as in ICE, I think that's his wheelhouse. He can send them whatever city he wants to, and then it's the local jurisdictions if they want to work with them or not. My thoughts. I don't know why they wouldn't work with them. I mean, if they're only going after people who came into the country illegally, I have no skin in the fight. Now, if he's trying to a lot of people are going to be like, oh well, what's next? He's going to try to deport U.S. citizens. I don't think any of that. But I mean, at the end of the day, you gotta follow the laws. I can't break a law and then be upset because they're enforcing the punishment for breaking the law. I mean, that's just my thoughts. So, but yep, that is what we're talking about for the Department of War. Tell me your thoughts, y'all. Tell me, are you fine with the name change, or do you think it's disgusting? Now, remember, depending on your thoughts, well, you have to remember that it was originally the name before, and then they switched over to defense. I mean, if he was, I would feel a little differently if he was always called the Department of Defense, but then we switched over to Department of War. I might feel a little something differently, but we're just going back to the same name. It doesn't sound like he's trying to change what they're going to be doing. But now, if you disagree with what I'm saying, or if you think I'm wrong, tell me. Well, that's my thoughts. That is my thoughts. Remember to hit that like button and subscribe button, and always tell me what you're thinking. Tell me if you disagree with anything I said. Tell me if you disagree with anything I said. Now we got to pivot. We got to pivot over into Ukraine. So we got a Ukrainian refugee who was fatally stabbed in Charlotte on the train. So we got a few videos to watch of that. And it sounds like the man had a lengthy criminal past. So let's get over into these videos and break down what we are seeing. So let's get into it.
A disturbing and deadly random attack in North Carolina. A 23-year-old Ukrainian refugee killed, stabbed by a passenger on a public transit train. New surveillance video shows what happened, and a warning: you may find it disturbing. Skylar Henry reports.
It's just before 10 p.m. on August 22nd, and 34-year-old DeCarlos Brown Jr. is seated on a Charlotte light rail train. Several other people are around him. According to officials, a few minutes later, the train doors open, and 23-year-old Irina Zarutska gets on and takes a seat in front of Brown. She's wearing what appears to be a work uniform, AirPods, and looking at her phone. But then, the unthinkable happens. You see Brown pull out what officials say was a pocket knife. He unfolds it, then stands up behind Zarutska. What we aren't showing you is the moment where Brown then stabs Zarutska several times, then walks away. Here you can see Brown trying to get off the train, and then a few people spring into action, attempting to save Zarutska. She would die from her injuries. Meanwhile, Brown, who has removed his hoodie, waits for the train to stop. And then you see him exit.
Officials say it appears that Brown and Zarutska did not know each other, and a motive for the stabbing remains under investigation. According to court documents, Brown has a criminal history dating back to 2011, including robbery with a dangerous weapon and other offenses. Charlotte's mayor, Vi Lyles, released this statement on X, saying in part, "This was a senseless and tragic loss. My prayers remain with her loved ones as they continue to grieve through an unimaginable time."
Brown is charged with first-degree murder and remains behind bars. Skyler Henry, CBS.
Absolutely crazy. There's some senseless violence, very senseless violence. It didn't look like any, based on it, she just sat down and out of nowhere, she ends up getting stabbed by the guy behind her. She came to this country as a refugee, escaping Ukraine's war, and ends up dying on the train from a very sick individual, Let's get over into this next video and see what it's talking about.
As you heard, that video was released over the weekend, showing the moments leading up to the death of 23-year-old Irina Zarutska. The video, which we are choosing not to show, has raised more concern from neighbors surrounding the safety of public transit. WCNC Charlotte's Richard Devane joins us live this morning with how people are working to come to terms with this attack, Richard, while still fighting for better safety conditions during their everyday commutes.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct, Lisa. Good morning to you. Good morning, Ben. A good Monday morning all. And that video, as you described, we're not showing the entirety of it because it is too disturbing to even think about what happened, let alone watch. But it has folks who ride on cats who also haven't seen that video, both upset and very concerned about that video, most importantly, about their safety going forward. The reaction to that senseless and tragic attack on the Cat's Blue Line has residents, as I said, both scared and outraged. Leaders say they're increasing patrols on the Blue Line. They also say they're reviewing safety policies. That surveillance video shows the moment Irina Zarutska boarded the Cat's train at the East-West station, then sitting down right in front of a man later identified as DeCarlos Brown. Just minutes later, Brown pulled out a knife and stabbed her multiple times. The video shows him walking to the car, wrapping his hands in a sweater, and then leaving the train. Police say Brown did not have a valid ticket that night. He's now charged with murder. And as you can imagine, that release of the videos left many in our area shocked, while others say safety has long been a concern on public transit.
Obviously, you get your few people here and there that may cause some type of concern. Like yesterday, I did get followed actually on the train, but I think that's unfortunately, that's normal for women.
Yeah, but it shouldn't have to be. Right now, Kat says again, it is reviewing that video, going over their security measures, and offering to step up patrols on its light rail and CATS bus systems. Of course, we'll continue to follow this story, but for now, we're right here in the South End. This is Richard Devane. We'll send it back to you.
Absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy, y'all. You have to be careful. You truly have to be careful. Women, keep your head on a swivel. You never know what can happen. Same thing with anybody. Anybody needs to keep their head on a swivel. But things like this, sometimes you're just going to not be prepared for. Well, you need to always be prepared, but you're not going to expect them. These things come out randomly. We don't know what was going through his mind, but he has a lengthy criminal past, and we're going to go over it and get into it now. So he's been, as you can see, been arrested 14 times, but let's get right over into this video.
The city of Charlotte, North Carolina, now home to one of the most horrific crimes ever caught on camera. 23-year-old Irina Zarutska, seen here, had no idea that when she boarded a commuter train on her way home from her shift at a local pizza restaurant, that it would be the last thing that she would ever do. That is because DeCarlos Brown Jr., a repeat offender, allegedly took her life by stabbing her in the neck with a knife. Now, the city is facing pressing questions over safety and their response to this crime. Charlotte City Council member Edwin B. Peacock III joins me now. Councilmember, thank you so much for doing just that. Just first want to get your reaction to this horrific crime that has taken place in your city.
We're 18 days from the murder of Ms. Zarutska. Our city is just blown away by what we've seen. Obviously, this is not something that we normally see in the 14th largest city of the United States, and certainly on a light rail system that we're extremely proud of. It's the largest one to be put in place. Opened up in 2007. First one between Atlanta and Washington, D.C. your listeners may not know, but most of our light rail system is above the ground. We don't have any underground subways here. So again, it's shocking and appalling what we've seen.
Well, this suspect had 14 prior arrests, and he was out on no bail pending trial at the time of this murder. So obviously the glaring question here, council member, is why was he allowed out into this community to commit this crime in the first place? And that is a question that's not only coming from me, it's also coming from DeCarlos Brown Jr.'s own mother, who said he is.
Oh, hold on. We're going to get back into that, but all these mugshots, and he was out on no bond. And even the mother's asking, this is crazy, y'all. This is absolutely crazy. Let's keep going.
From me, it's also coming from DeCarlos Brown Jr.'s own mother, who said he is schizophrenic and aggressive. She says the court should have never let her son out in the community, knowing he had mental health issues and previous arrests. Is this system of cashless bail something that you would like to see changed?
Absolutely. This is a poster child example of someone who's clearly a harm to themselves and harm to others. Our police are doing an excellent job in arresting these types of individuals, but we have a court system that's overwhelmed. We have a North Carolina system that is de-institutionalized individuals that really should have hospitalization and permanent around-the-clock care. I hope this wakes up a conversation not just around the mental health topic, which has certainly been talked about a lot, but we have to actually follow that with actions. And as sad as this tragedy is, I hope that it will shine a bright light on it.
Magistrate Judge Teresa Stokes is the one who let the suspect out on no bail pending trial. And apparently there was a written note that he would appear in court, and that is what allowed him to be released. What do you think about that? And should she face consequences as a result of this decision?
Each one of these cases, from my understanding, and I also had some personal experience trying to get what's called an involuntary commitment of an individual that I was close with who was having similar type issues. It's all based off each individual case. And in the case of Mr. Brown, our understanding was that it was on a very minor infraction that they were trying to obviously get him and seek more help. So each one is situation by situation. No judge anywhere is going to ever think that they're going to release somebody like this that's going to do this type of heinous crime on it. But again, it just points to the fact that you see a history. In his case, 12 arrests as an adult under CMPD, our police department. How do we stop this? There's clearly other individuals just like him. I traveled on the light rail system myself just 7 days after she was killed. And there's just many, many individuals traveling on our trains that have no business being there.
Yeah, a minor, and you know, council member, a minor infraction at the time of his release, but he had 13 other sentences where he was actually sentenced to jail time. So I think one of the things that could happen is looking at the criminal history as a whole. And I also want to ask you about the mayor of Charlotte. Her initial response was that the suspect suffered a crisis, as if he was the one who suffered and as if this was an isolated incident. There's also a local reporter, council member, who posted some tweets about during a session where you were discussing this case and violence in your city, members took a birthday cake break and ate birthday cake. And one of the tweets said, "Cake time is over. Charlotte City Council is now starting its discussion of the fatal stabbing." Do you think the city council is taking this seriously enough?
I know my colleagues and I agree that this is absolutely the last thing that we would ever want to see happen in our city. But are they taking it more seriously? They certainly are now. When the video was released, there's been a deluge on everybody's inbox, and clearly for good reason. I'm asking for my council members to respond by simply supporting the mayor's initiative to put more cops on our trains, and then secondly, to enforce the fares. Most of your listeners wouldn't know that on the system that we have that's above ground, it's an open platform system. So there's really largely not a lot of enforcement as to who's actually getting on the train. And it's not been something that we've been following through on a consistent basis. Yeah. So the message is to most riders is that this is a free ride, and it's not. And if you don't pay, you won't ride.
And finally,
absolutely crazy. There now, there's so much stuff to unpack. So much stuff to unpack. Should he have been committed and no bond? Sounds like he should have. He had paranoid. His mother even stated he had paranoid schizophrenia. The mayor saying that he had a crisis. I don't like that word. No matter what kind of outbreak you're having, once you go to fatally stabbing someone, man, it's absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. But Sounds like he should 14 arrests. The last one was minor, and I guess that's why they decided to release him. But I would like to think that no judge would think, or no judge would just release someone who has violent tendencies. So I'm assuming she didn't know, or she didn't think that he would react like this. But we got to do better. We got to have more police on the trains. We got to have more. They got to enforce the fees more, so they know who actually is on there. A lot of work has to be done. A lot of work.
Council member, President Trump has made crime crackdown a priority. Would you like to see National Guard troops in your city if it means that something like this wouldn't happen again?
Not at this time.
Why not?
Well, simply because crime actually in Charlotte statistically is down like it is around most of the country, but we do have a crime problem, and it's been growing. This paper thin statistic that most CMPD is holding on to. And I just know, having been in this position before, that it's not something that you can take for granted. If someone doesn't feel safe in our city, statistics aren't going to help a victim like this. You have to be serious about what you can actually do about this type of crime. You've pointed it out clearly through the court system where there's been a failure there, but also to help enforce the actual laws that are on the books.
Well, there's a 44% decrease in violent crime in Washington, D.C. after the federal surge. So hearing that statistic doesn't change your mind?
Well, again, each city's going to be in a different situation, but I think that Charlotte would not welcome the actual National Guard, and I don't know where actually you would put them. We're going to already have a response from our police department in response to this immediately, and that was brought out by our mayor last night. Well,
a young woman who was seeking safety from the war in Ukraine came to the United States looking for a peaceful life, and look what happened to her. She's no longer with us, but hopefully some change will be made so this doesn't happen again. Charlotte City Council member Edwin B. Peacock III, thank you for.
So it sounds like he's not convinced that that the National Guard is needed right now. I'm not sure if they're needed or not, but they got to do better. They have to do better. More police presence on the trains. I'm not sure how their actual police force is going to manage. I don't know if they have enough employees to do it, but if they don't, then sounds like you need the National Guard. That's when the police presence isn't substantial enough, then I can see where the National Guard would be needed to help reinforce. They need to work. The main thing, they need to work clearly together. They have to work together. It just can't be one place taking over the other, or the National Guard taking over the Charlotte or the North Carolina police or the Charlotte police. Absolutely crazy, y'all. Absolutely crazy. At the end of the day, sounds like this could have been prevented. We got to pray for the family, because pray for her. Pray for her family, all that. And what do you think should happen? I mean, he's already fatally stabbed, so he has to be in jail. But so question, even his mother admitted he had paranoid schizophrenia. I don't know how that, but I'm assuming he can get away with the insanity plea. But I don't know. I truly don't. I think he needs to be locked up for life. That is first thing. Now, if it's in a jail or if it's in a mental facility, that's two different things. I don't like to, because a lot of people when these crimes happen, they'll jump right into his mental health. But he had a clear mental health problems. Paranoid schizophrenia is, just watching TV shows and different things that I've learned about paranoid schizophrenia. It's a wild disease, disease of the mind. So I could see him being locked up in a mental facility for the rest of his life. But would that give the victim's family or the victim the right justice? Would that give them justice? Let me know your thoughts, y'all. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know if you disagree with anything that was said from the news reporters, or if you disagree with anything I said. End of the day, we got to review the world together. We have to review the world together. Now we're gonna pivot. We're gonna pivot over into screwworms. Yes, I said it. Screwworms have been detected in the United States. Now, I'm not too sure about what screwworms are, but some farmers and cattle herders or cattle people in Texas are worried about it. So we're gonna get into a few videos of this, and then we'll just break down an article about what is happening. Let's jump over right into it and see what's happening. Let's get into it.
Texas cattle ranchers are on high alert after a parasite called the New World screwworm was detected just miles away in northern Mexico. Now, while the parasite usually just targets animals, a man in Maryland is the first human to contract it here in the U.S. Health officials say he got the parasite after traveling to El Salvador. Let's bring in CBS News reporter Karen Waugh. She joins us live. And Karen, this story kind of makes my skin crawl. So how exactly does this parasite target a host animal or person?
Well, Elizabeth, yeah, making your skin crawl, definitely relatable here. This screwworm enters the flesh through an open wound. And like you said, that can be either in animals, livestock, pets, and humans included. And if it's not treated within 72 hours, it could cause severe infection or even death. So as you stated, the screwworm was detected in northern Mexico. So since the Department of Agriculture has shut down the southern border to cattle and horse imports, officials worry a screwworm invasion in Texas could jeopardize the state's $12 billion cattle industry. And Texas has more cattle than any other state in the U.S. This at a time closing the Mexican border has already reduced cattle supply, and that makes many people worry about the beef supply. At the same time, beef prices are at an all-time high. Elizabeth.
Karen Waugh, live for us in Texas. Thanks so much, Karen.
Let's get over into this next video. That is wild. That looks wild.
And a health headline for you right now at 4:30. A deadly flesh-eating larva was found in the U.S. and now that's also a big concern for cattle. Local 10's Nella Sobovic is in Miami with the very latest.
While there aren't any New World screwworm cases in animals or in humans in the state of Florida, doctors and health officials do want to get on top of it, educate and inform the public in case there is an outbreak. New World screwworm is a devastating pest.
And it's just a matter of time until it spreads.
It's a
Now, no, I don't like to pause it too much, but that is the smart thing to do. The main thing, if they're scared about something spreading or contagion, is getting the public's known about it. Let more people know about it, what the possibility of it happening. That way people are more prepared and can take steps to protect themselves. So, yes, that is a very smart thing to do. But let's keep going into this.
Screwworm is a devastating pest.
And it's just a matter of time until it spreads.
It's a parasitic fly that lands on an open wound. Females lay anywhere from 200 to 300 eggs. Once they hatch, the maggots feed on live tissue, causing a painful infestation in humans and in animals. Dr. Ori Eisenberg-Weinger from Wags Animal Hospital explains.
And then what happens from that point is you get secondary bacterial infections, inflammatory responses, and that's why it's fatal within 7 to 14 days.
While human cases are rare, just last week a human infection has been confirmed in Maryland. The patient returned from El Salvador. It comes amid an outbreak among livestock in Mexico and countries across Central and South America.
The predominant location of this fly is in Central America, and nature goes north and south. So that's why these geographical areas are affected.
The U.S. Department of Agriculture says to date, New World screwworm has not been reported or detected in the United States in animals. And it's typically not found in the U.S., but health officials are already trying to get on top of it before it becomes a major issue like how it did in the 1960s, creating devastating health and financial impacts.
It's spent from Louisiana to California, resulting, if you adjust for inflation, of about $1.8 billion to the U.S. economy, affecting 7 million cattle.
We've dealt with this in the past, especially here in Florida. You may recall in 2016, the screwworm was attacking key deer. It can also affect household pets. Dr. Ori tells us what to look out for.
Larva wound that is progressing, maybe the animal wants to seclude itself, anorexia, lethargy.
So what's being done to stop a potential spread? Sterilizing flies has proven to be the most effective approach. A facility will be constructed in Texas near the border to produce up to 300 million sterile flies. While there are no cases in Florida, Dr. Ori says the key is to stay informed.
The goal is not.
You have to stay informed. That's wild. That is absolutely wild.
Dr. Ori says the key is to stay informed.
The goal is not to scare people, right? Early detection, early intervention is key.
So you just heard from the doctor right there. No need to be scared or to be panicked, simply informed. Again, the risk to the public is low at the moment. And if you are traveling in those areas where there is an outbreak, you are urged to keep your wounds clean and protected. Reporting out of Miami, Sanella Sabovic, Local 10.
I mean, that's the main thing you need to do in any kind of room. Keep it clean, keep it closed. That's absolutely wild. Now let's get over into this article to see if there's any more information that can tell us about what actually the screwworm is, or any more stuff like that. So let's get over into it. And let's pull up this article for everybody can see it. All right. So Yahoo News. Yahoo News is our fan. Screwworms, a fresh-eating parasite, have U.S. officials and ranchers bracing for infestation. So a screwworm can kill cattle within days. U.S. health officials reported first human case of the screwworm was just last month. Although the patient has recovered, there was no indication that the infection spread to any other people or animals. Some states are still concerned about the rising rates of screwworm infestations outside of the U.S., particularly in Mexico. Texas ranchers are focusing on how to protect their cattle, according to some local outlets. Well, Kansas Department of Health and Environment issued a September 5th alert urging healthcare providers to stay vigilant. Humans can become infected with screwworms when they travel to endemic or outbreak areas. The Kansas Department of Health and Environment alert says the Center of Disease Control confirms that the patient in Maryland had recently traveled to El Salvador. So he traveled to the area. What is a New World screwworm? The screwworm name comes from the way the larva tends to screw themselves into open rooms. APHIS says the maggots will tear apart the skin tissue with their hooks and start expanding and deepening the wound so more larvae can hatch. Jesus. Sorry, don't use that name in vain. Describes adult screwworms as the size of common household flies with orange eyes, metallic blue or green body, and 3 dark stripes along the backs. Each screwworm has a 10 to 30 day lifespan and can lay up to 3,000 larvae during its myalis. Myalis? I'm thinking of saying that right. When the fly larva or maggot burrows into the flesh of the living animal, they cause serious, often deadly damage to the animal. Keeping it out of the United States is crucial to protecting the livestock industry, economy, and food chains. Here's some symptoms. Extreme pain. Infected person may be able to see or feel moving around inside them. Symptoms can include skin lesions, aren't healing, constant bleeding from open sores, feeling movements within the skin, wound, nose, eyes. God. For some mammals, birds who are infected start seeming more irritable, start shaking their heads, and likely to smell like decay. Ugh. Is there a treatment? The CCC strongly recommends contacting the healthcare provider immediately if you believe you're infected. Do not try to remove it yourself. There are currently no approved drugs for treating this. Absolutely nasty. That is wild. Oh my God. Yeah, they say the main thing to help protect it is to keep your wounds clean and covered up. Use insect repellent, sleep indoors. Absolutely disgusting. Just be careful and keep your wounds clean, y'all. It doesn't look like it's spreading right now, but they said it's a potential. There is a potential for them to start spreading in the U.S. So they have to be prepared for it. They have to be prepared for if anything like this can happen. Absolutely crazy. Oh, messed up a little bit. Absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. Now, we got to pivot. It's time to pivot. We got to pivot over into, looks like, McDonald's. I don't know if y'all remember. McDonald's. The lady who, let's go over into this. Got to go over to the McDonald's killer. The McDonald's killer is back in court. You remember the lady? Will do a refresher. But remember, she got upset because she had to leave. She was told to leave work by a manager, and then she came back and stabbed her manager to death. Yes. So she's back in court. So we're going to do a refresher video, and we'll get over into her appearing back in court. So let's get over into that and see what it is. Then we got another video after this. There's more McDonald's crash outs out there. So let's get into it. This is the refresher video from when it first happened.
A mother killed in a workplace stabbing.
My mama died trying to take care of us.
A McDonald's manager killed in the middle of the morning rush, and police say it was another employee who did it.
Jennifer Harris was working her shift this morning when she sent an employee home early. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Kimberly Gill.
And I'm Ty Steele. Police say that employee left and then came back and killed her with a knife. This happened at the McDonald's on 9 Mile West, west of Kelly and East Point. Noel Frio is live with the details. Noel, we hear a Good Samaritan stepped in and tried and stop this.
Yeah, that's right. Police say that stabbing happened near this drive-through window behind me. And they say a customer who was in the drive-through stepped in and stopped the suspect from fleeing the scene before police arrived. We've now learned that the victim was a mother of 6. Employees described the terrifying moments inside a McDonald's after a worker attacked a manager with a knife. Police say the employee had been in an argument with the manager that ended with her being sent home.
She left for 5 minutes. She came back with a mask on her face. And the only thing I seen was her hands. That's how I knew it was her.
Family of the victim identify her as 39-year-old Jennifer Harris. She was stabbed multiple times before a customer in the drive-through line intervened, holding the employee at gunpoint until officers arrived.
He had her sitting down there about in the parking lot next to a vehicle, and he had the gun pointed at her. That's when police and all them rolled up.
He did the right thing. He showed, so to speak, heroism. And we really appreciate his assistance because, like I said, otherwise we would have a dangerous criminal right now in public and we would be looking for her, but who knows what else she was gonna do.
Family of Harris described her as selfless, a hard worker who worked to provide for her 6 children as a single mother.
She was the best mom anybody could ever ask for. My mama, she woke up every day and went to work for us. My mama died trying to take care of us.
Her children now in shock at how such senseless violence could have ended their mother's life.
A hard-working woman, so kind. If anybody needed help, she would give you her last, give you the shirt off her back. She did not deserve that at all.
And police are asking that anyone with any more information on this incident contact the East Point Police Department. We have that phone number in this story at clickondetroit.com. Live in East Point, Noel Frio, local.
Absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. Let's get over. Yeah, this is how this. Remember, if y'all seen, but this is how the McDonald's killer still look crazy. But let's go over to this video where she was most recently in court.
The woman accused of stabbing and killing her manager at a McDonald's in East Point was back in court today. Afeni Badu Muhammad is facing first-degree murder, accused of killing 39-year-old Jennifer Harris, a mother of 6. Noel Friel joins us live with the details. And Noel, criminal proceedings against Muhammad could be paused. That's because experts need to determine if she's competent to stand trial.
Yeah, that's right. Muhammad's attorney ordered her to undergo a mental competency evaluation to determine whether she'll be able to understand the charges against her and participate in her own defense. One of the charges she's now facing is for being a habitual offender. We've now uncovered that charge is tied to another stabbing case in another state where Muhammad pled guilty. Loved ones of Jennifer Harris will have to continue to wait for justice as Afeni Muhammad undergoes a mental competency evaluation to determine if she's competent to go to trial.
I knew she was being interviewed, spoken to the doctor. In regards to the time of the report, we leave it to the discretion on when we want to come back.
Muhammad's defense attorney, Joshua Jones, requested the exam. If she's found to be mentally unfit, the case will be put on pause.
Procedurally here in Michigan, when someone is determined to be incompetent, then they go seek services if the center or the doctor determines or believes that they are able to become competent. And so that's what would happen if the conclusion is that she is incompetent.
Muhammad is facing a first-degree murder charge, accused of stabbing Harris to death after an argument where Harris sent her home from work early, appearing to post rantings online about her 2 days before.
She could keep being a bully if she wants to, but that is going to catch up to her. Because it ain't funny at all.
And it's not the first stabbing case Muhammad has been charged in. Local 4 uncovered court documents from a case out of Virginia where she pled guilty to unlawful felony wounding in 2022 after an incident where she stabbed her boyfriend during an argument. According to a criminal complaint, she admitted to stabbing him, saying they had gotten into an altercation after her boyfriend learned she had spoken with a male friend about issues in their relationship. She was given a suspended sentence of 4 years, meaning she didn't have to serve any prison time so long as she met several conditions, including 1 year of state-supervised probation and abiding by a protective order. And we have the full details of that case over at clickondetroit.com. Muhammad's attorney expects to have the results of her competency exam in the next few weeks. Her next court date is scheduled for October 8th.
Absolutely crazy. Where's she at? You know, we gotta have that image up. We have to have that image up. So we talked about this. So first thing, she stabbed someone prior because of her boyfriend. She stabbed her boyfriend prior. And she was sentenced to 4 years of something like probation or something like that. She was no jail time. But then her manager, so the whole thing with the McDonald's thing, her manager sent her home. She got upset. She made TikTok videos about her being upset. Not the same day, but she made it in the past about her being upset about her manager sending her home or have sent her home in the past. And then she went, got a knife, tried to cover her face, and went back and stabbed her. Come on, man. I don't know if you can just chalk that up to they're trying to get her mental health evaluated, see if she understand her job. She understand it clearly. She was upset about being sent home, and she went back and killed the manager. But it's her right to go through any kind of way she can go through her defense. So you're just gonna have to wait for the psychologist, whoever to look at her. But absolutely crazy, y'all. Absolutely crazy. Yeah, but it sounds like she likes stabbing people. It's awful. I think she needs to be in jail. Even if for some reason they say that her mental faculties aren't good enough to where she can understands what's happening to her, she has to be away from the public for the rest of her life. Simple as that. I've been upset about work plenty of times, but I've never gone back and tried to stab my manager. Never once. Not even thought about it. Never even thought about it. But she went back and did it. And if that civilian wasn't there and had a gun on her, she would have ran. Wow. Absolutely crazy. I mean, that's a good thing to think about. That's definitely a good thing to be taught. Absolutely crazy, y'all. Absolutely crazy. But tell me your thoughts, y'all. Tell me your thoughts. Do you think that she'll get away with her mental health evaluation, saying that she's not fit enough to stand trial? Absolutely wild. But it's not only McDonald's. That is not the only McDonald's crash out. We got another one who most recently happened. So it looks like a fight in a drive-thru ended up in a shooting. So we got another McDonald's shooting. A fight between two men ended up in a shooting, and one ended up dying. Absolutely crazy. But let's get over into it and see another McDonald's crash out. So let's get over into this. We got 2 videos to watch of this. Let's jump into it.
Now at 11, a minor collision early this morning at a popular East Hollywood McDonald's turns deadly. 2 people were shot, 1 fatally during an altercation in the drive-through lane about 3:30 this morning.
And it's believed that the suspect is the one that called police just before he was arrested. Now witnesses say the argument started after one car bumped another. Chris Wolf has more from East Hollywood.
Hours after this deadly shooting at an East Hollywood McDonald's, it's back to business as usual with an endless stream of customers eager to bite into their burgers and fries. That's exactly what some people were planning to do early Saturday morning until a chance encounter changed everything. Bleeding and bawling, a young woman pleads for help after an argument escalated into a shooting at a McDonald's restaurant in East Hollywood early Saturday morning around 3:30 a.m.
Well, actually, what I heard when I was across the street was the 2 shots. Then I could hear the lady crying, "I've been shot, I've been shot." So when I came across the street to check on it, she was shot in the thigh, but she kept asking to help her husband and to turn over their husband, help him give CPR.
I don't care about my son, I care about my husband.
Authorities say the man was shot in the chest and later pronounced dead at a local hospital. The shooting suspect, in handcuffs, remained at the scene. Witnesses say he is the one who actually called police, insisting he fired in self-defense. According to most accounts, the argument started when one car hit another in the McDonald's drive-through lane.
It's definitely traumatic.
Tony Molina says he is the brother of the woman who was shot in the leg. He explains the 2 victims were not married, but engaged to be married.
So it's definitely going to take a toll on a lot of us, including myself, because he was a great guy. You know, we partied, we had fun, we did a lot of cool family trips together, and now it's like everything was taken in a flash.
You're not supposed to come to McDonald's, you know, for fries and a shake and end up on the pavement dead.
Anyone with information or evidence, such as cell phone video, should contact the LAPD. In East Hollywood, I'm Chris Wolf, KTLA 5 News.
Absolutely crazy, everybody. Absolutely crazy. I want to know what car hit who and what was the situation where he felt like his life was in danger, because that'll play a big part into it. But let's get over into the next video where the fiance is speaking. Now I'll look and see if we can find any articles that gives more details.
To a vigil tonight for the man shot and killed at an East Hollywood McDonald's. The gunman says he fired in self-defense.
But as an Eyewitness News reporter, Elena Gomez explains, the fiance of the man who died is telling a very different story.
We talked to the fiance of the man who was shot and killed at this McDonald's on Saturday morning. The fiance says she is broken into a million pieces and now wants justice for her fiance. Tonight, a memorial is set up for 36-year-old Feliciano Curiel Martinez, also known as Felix, after he was shot and killed following an altercation with another driver at a McDonald's on Western Avenue in East Hollywood.
He was someone that brought life anywhere that he went. Honestly, he was full of life. Someone that cared and would help you.
Karen and Felix had just gotten engaged in April and just bought a house. It was a normal Saturday night for the couple when everything changed. Karen says they went to McDonald's for a late night snack when she says the driver in front of them hit his brakes quickly and then claimed that they had hit him. She said after they got their food, he was waiting for them. Karen said she asked for proof that they hit him, and that led to an escalation between the 2 groups.
Like pushed him with his body. That's when my fiance got mad and swung at him. And when he swung at him, the other guy out the gun, but I didn't see. My guy just went in front of me like that, and that's when I heard the shots going, and I felt that I was hit.
Karen was shot in the leg. She says her fiance was shot in the chest. She later learned he didn't have a pulse when he got to the hospital.
He pretty much kind of like saved my life as well. They say he died as a hero. I just wish things were different.
The 21-year-old shooting suspect was taken into custody at the scene. Witnesses say the suspect told them he was shooting in self-defense.
Self-defense, that was no self-defense, and all I want is justice for my fiance, honestly. Like, this is not okay.
The fiance has set up a GoFundMe page to help with some of the funeral costs. You can head to our website at abc7.com for more information. In East Hollywood, Elena Gomez, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Elena, thank you.
That is wild. That is absolutely wild. Someone did lose their life. So we got to pray for her family. You got to be careful. Because what I'm understanding about what we just heard, so the killer said that they hit his car. And when he tried to confront him about it, they got into a heated argument. He started arguing, screaming at her. I think she said that she pushed him, or he pushed, not she pushed him. He pushed, the killer pushed her. Now, if I'm saying something wrong, let me know. Or attacking her verbally. And then the husband, defending her, swung at him, and he didn't want to fight with his hands. Sounds like to me he did not want to fight with his hands. That's how a lot of people feel nowadays, so you got to be careful. And he opened fire. Can that be as self-defense? I don't know. I truly don't. I don't know. But the main thing with self-defense, as we know, as reasonable people know, you have to use a reasonable amount of force. So I don't know if we can consider him shooting both of them a reasonable amount of force, because sounds like he was attacked first, but he might have pushed her. Let's see this article. Matter of fact, let's go back tiny bit. Let's hear back what she said.
And when he swung on him,
proof that they hit him, and that led to an escalation between the two groups.
Like, pushed him with his body. That's when my fiance got mad and swung at him. And when he swung on him, the other guy pulled out the gun, which I didn't see. My guy just went in front of me like that, and that's when I heard the shots going, and I felt that I was hit.
Karen was shot in the
leg. Main thing, be careful, y'all. Don't. That's absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. Be careful. Be careful out there. Because I don't know if she pushed him or not. Or if he pushed her. And that what started. But it sounds like the main thing that started it was that the husband swung at him. He reacted by pulling out a gun. Absolutely crazy, y'all. Absolutely crazy. But let's see this quick little article. So a person was killed and another was injured in early morning Saturday. Shooting outside of McDonald's in East Hollywood. Authorities came. The shooting was reported at 3:30 a.m. According to the LAPD, a dispute between two parties led to a shooting. A suspect pulled out a handgun during a confrontation and shot at two victims. One of the victims, identified by his family as Martinez, 36, was pronounced dead at the hospital. The other remained stable condition. Martinez's fiance, Martinez's fiance said that the suspect, identified as Humberto, I'm not good at names, began shooting a man in altercation over a minor car incident. We were behind him all the time. Our car had sensors that it brakes as soon as it sees something. Witnesses said that Martinez punched Delgado. Gordon, see what these names are killing me. Said that her fiance struck him because he was verbally attacking her. I'm pretty sure that my fiance saw the gun before because he just went in front of me. So, if it's how the article reads it, that he was verbally attacking his wife, and the man came up and just started swinging and swung at him. It's first of all, I don't think you should. It's how You have to defend your woman, of course, but you got to do it in a way that doesn't put both of your lives in risk. You could have stepped in front of her and be like, hey, man, don't talk to my wife like that. Talk to me. Talk to me. If you got a problem, talk to me. But you have to be careful. You can't just swing on people nowadays. You cannot, because you don't know what they have planned. And you don't know what they're willing to do. People are not fighting with hands nowadays. They do not care about fighting with hands. If they feel like they're about to get in a fight, they will pull out a gun and shoot you. And then they're going to claim self-defense because you swung at them first. Now, can he get through self-defense? I don't know. It all depends on if the judge or the people see it as reasonable act of force. That's the main thing with self-defense, like we said before. If it was a reasonable response with force. Now, tell me your thoughts. Do you think it was reasonable? I don't think so. I think anytime when someone's trying to swing at you as a fight, unless they're about to jump you, I don't see reasonable for pulling out a gun. I don't. But if he has a weapon, he tries to do something, yeah, that's totally different. But absolutely crazy, y'all. Absolutely crazy. Tell me your thoughts. How much time you think he should get? And do you think he can play this off as self-defense? Absolutely crazy. Now, there's a lot of crazy things happening, but we got to go to another shooting. We got another shooting in a theme park. You're not even safe in a theme park nowadays, y'all. You have to be careful. Have your head on a swivel and have your kids next to you because they're shooting at theme parks nowadays. But let's get over into this next video. We got 2 videos to watch with this. So let's jump into it.
On a night of fun that turned into a deadly tragedy, a fight broke out at Malibu Jack's, that's in North Richland Hills. Police say an 18-year-old suspect pulled a gun and killed a 21-year-old mother. Fox 4's Amelia Jones has more on the shooting. Amelia.
Steve, we learned today from police that the fight started inside the Malibu Jack's and then spilled into the parking lot. That's when police say the 18-year-old suspect got a hold of a gun and started shooting. Police say 21-year-old DeShayla Jones was killed and her 23-year-old acquaintance that she was with that night was injured. 2 off-duty officers who were working at Malibu Jack's that night ran outside when they heard the gunshots. One officer helped the injured man. The other fired at the suspect, who wasn't hit and then ran from the scene. Police arrested 18-year-old Ty Christian Reed in a neighboring city, and police say he still had what they believe to be the murder weapon with him. Initially, 3 18-year-olds were arrested, but as the investigation continued and investigators spoke to additional witnesses, only Reed is facing charges in connection to the murder. Meanwhile, police are still trying to piece together how all of this started.
It's still unclear what the altercation was about, and officers have still not been able to identify a connection between the suspect and the victims.
Reed faces 9 charges, including murder.
First of all, that's an 18-year-old? 18. Man, at least definitely don't look 18, but let's keep
aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, aggravated assault of a peace officer, and endangerment of a child, as police say children were present inside Malibu Jack's at the time of the shooting. It's still unclear where Reed got the gun, but police do not believe he brought it inside Malibu Jack's. Police say there is evidence that shows Reed shot at officers, and the officer who fired back at Reed is on administrative leave, which is the department's policy. For now, Steve, back to you.
All right, Amelia Jones.
Wow, absolutely crazy. Let's go over to this next video where we break down a little bit more about it.
We're learning more about the mother killed in a shooting at an indoor theme park. The shooting in North Richland Hills this weekend left a 21-year-old woman dead. An 18-year-old is now charged with murder. The victim's family says she and her son were at a venue for a birthday party. Fox 4's Peyton Yeager spoke to the woman's grandmother. Peyton.
Stephen, we just wrapped up that interview late this evening. I'm told 21-year-old DaCara Jones of Dallas took her 4-year-old son to a child's birthday party at Malibu Jack's in North Richland Hills. Later that evening, a deadly shooting took place in the parking lot. DaCara Jones's family tells me her 4-year-old son witnessed the traumatic chain of events. The priority right now for this Dallas family, the future of this little boy.
And this is her son, Princeton Coleman.
The 4-year-old's family tells Fox 4 he witnessed his mother, 21-year-old DaCara Jones, being shot and killed.
I have to tell him that Mama's not going to come back to us anymore. And I don't think that's right for them to do her like that, you know, because she was a good girl.
Marilyn Seipert says her granddaughter, DaCara, took her son to Malibu Jack's, an indoor theme park in North Richland Hills, Saturday evening for a children's birthday party. Police say just after midnight, a fight broke out inside the entertainment venue. The altercation escalated and spilled outside. 18-year-old Ty Christian Reed of Fort Worth is accused of pulling out a gun and opening fire in the parking lot. A 23-year-old man was struck and survived. However, DaCara Jones was pronounced dead on scene. Seipert rushed to get Princeton.
He said, Mama was laying there. She said, I went up there. He said, I went up there to her, and she wasn't talking.
Other children were inside Malibu Jack's as Reed continued to be violent, according to investigators. 2 uniformed off-duty North Richland Hills police were working security at the time and ran outside to help. Police say Reed then fired shots at one of the officers. An officer returned fire, but didn't hit Reed. The 18-year-old suspect was later arrested in a neighboring city. On him, police believe was the murder weapon.
It's still unclear what the altercation was about, and officers have still not been able to identify a connection between the suspect and the victims.
Jones's family says they do not recognize Reed, and it's unclear if Reed was a guest at the birthday party. Seipert struggling to gather the strength, leaning on her family with the devastating loss still fresh.
It is really hard what they did, take my baby away from me and took his mama.
Reed remains in the Tarrant County Jail this evening. He's facing a long list of charges, 9 charges, including murder, aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, aggravated assault against a public servant, and also child endangerment charges because other children were present. Now, 2 other people were arrested alongside Reed. However, Reed is the only one facing a murder charge. The other 2 had outstanding warrants. Steve?
All right, it's Peyton Yeager. Peyton, thank you.
Absolutely crazy. You mean that the son witnessed this? So much trauma in the world, y'all. So much trauma. You're gonna have the little boy, 4-year-old is gonna have to need some help. Gotta pray for the family. But it is crazy. You can't argue. I just said this. You can't be having heated discussions with people no more. I choose not to have heated discussions with people no more. Why? Because you don't know what people are capable of. I have to keep my head on a swivel because I'm scared of what someone I don't know and strangers could do. So you got to keep your head on a swivel. You have to be prepared for crazy things like this to happen. Well, I would hate it. It's bad to say, but you can't be out here arguing with people like that no more. You truly can't. Heated discussions? Golly. Absolutely crazy. They said it, the altercation started inside, and then I guess they said, let's go outside and have a fight about it. Or they just stepped outside to talk about it so they not in front of the kids. Golly. But now we got an 18-year-old who's going to be in jail for the rest of his life, it sounds like. Maybe that's what was all planned for him. He just wasn't meant to be out here with the rest of us. Absolutely crazy. Let's make sure we put, like always, you got to pray for the family. Pray for the little son because you're going to have to go through some therapy. He's going to have to do something. He's going to have to Gonna have to get some help. It's a tragic event. Very tragic, y'all. Very tragic. Absolutely crazy. Now, we're gonna pivot next. The next thing we're gonna go to is we had a death in one of the jails, and it seems like of an old man, and it seems like that they're the deputies, you got the nurses, they're all being indicated or potentially charged with causing his death. It seems that he was strapped down in the chair and then it was preventable. But let's get over into that. Monroe County, and let's see what's happening. Let's get over into this.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to 10 About Town. I'm Brittany Bailey. Breaking right now at 4, a grand jury has indicted 7 people in the death of a man held for hours in a restraint chair in the Monroe County Jail. 10 News investigative producer John North and anchor Shay Smith have been following Lester Isbell's story for months now, and Shay is joining us now with more.
That's right, Brittany. This is the indictment we just received just 20 minutes ago. Now, 7 people have now been charged after those indictments came down this afternoon. When we called the sheriff's office this afternoon, someone told us at least 5 have either already bonded out or are in the process of bonding out. Now, those facing charges are nurses Courtney Woods and Greg Mills, and correction officers former Corporal Jaron Henry, Corporal Elijah Spencer, Tyler Finger, Tommy Reagan, and Sergeant Joshua Duncan. These arrests come after the February death of retired preacher Lester Isbell. He died after authorities at the Monroe County Justice Center held him in a restraint chair for more than 9 hours. Isbell had been arrested for disorderly conduct after an employee at a local business in Madisonville called 911 for a medical check on him. Madisonville police responded to the call and found Isbell confused and disoriented. EMS arrived also and took his vitals. His blood pressure was so high it was considered a medical emergency. Isbell did not want to go to the hospital or with EMS, so Madisonville police arrested him and took him to the Justice Center. After he was booked and taken to a cell, he fell and hit his head, but instead of receiving medical treatment, correction officers strapped him into a restraint chair and held him like that for more than 9 hours. Also, for 7 of those hours, he was hooded. Jail staff checked on Isbell around 11 p.m. and found he had no pulse. He was taken to Blunt Memorial Hospital where he was pronounced dead. Now, Isbell's autopsy originally said he died of natural causes, but on August 21st, the Knox County Forensic Center amended his autopsy to classify his death as a homicide. After that, Monroe County District Attorney Stephen Hatchett told WBIR he would take this case to the grand jury. Again, the grand jury has indicted 7 people so far in this case. The charges range from criminally negligent homicide to false reports. One of the nurses, Courtney Woods, was indicted on criminally negligent homicide. The other nurse, Greg Mills, was indicted on false reports, while the 5 correction officers were indicted on official misconduct. Of course, we will bring you any new details we receive tonight at 5 and 6.
All right, we'll see you then. Thanks so much, Shay.
They said that he was hooded for 6 hours? No, 7 or 6 hours? Wow. I didn't even know they hooded people like that. They might put a mouth guard so you don't spit on nobody, but we hooding people? I didn't know that. I did not know that, but let's get over into this next video and see what these people look like.
Our story about the indictment of 5 Monroe County deputies and 2 nurses continues to evolve.
This comes as state and county authorities give us new information about their charges, all of which stems from the in-death custody of an inmate. Thanks for watching. I'm Josh Rowe.
And I'm Kim Chapman-Whitfield. We want to go ahead and warn you here that some people might find this story hard to watch.
Body camera video from Isbell's February 2024 arrest shows some of his interactions with deputies.
What day is it?
It's 1948, ain't it?
1948? Who's president?
George Washington.
George Washington? What month is it?
I don't even know what year it is.
Ray Collado has been following this story since earlier this summer.
And he joins us now with an update. Ray.
Yeah, in this video behind me, you can see just some of the moments of Elijah Isabel's time in Monroe County Jail, including this clip showing Isabel with a bag over his head. Tonight, we have new information from the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation about the people who now face charges.
Put your hand behind your back. Put your hand behind your back. Don't be fighting. Don't fight. You're under arrest.
Monroe County District Attorney Stephen Hatchett tells us in part quote, "While I think a reasonable person could have come to the conclusion that others should have been called to account for what happened to Mr. Isabel, our system of justice leaves that decision in the hands of the grand jury."
Would you do that? You ain't gonna get no blood out of it. It's hard to dump up the thing.
They don't normally act like that, right?
With a bond of $5,000 each, these jail employees face criminal indictments, ranging from false reports to official misconduct. Courtney Woods, a nurse, faces criminal negligent homicide.
He went to stand up and he lost control, and you could see everything just kind of left his face. He didn't know what was talking about.
This comes after a pathologist amended the initial autopsy report, ruling the cause of death as a homicide. The reason for the change? She stated that she had viewed video clips of Mr. Isbell while in the restraint chair. When asked if she saw where Isbell was offered water, she said no. When asked if she saw medical staff take his vitals, she said no. And when asked if she saw a corrections officer perform mobility checks, she said no.
Do you have any medical problems?
Mostly, yeah.
You're diabetic? You're not? You ain't a diabetic?
Despite this report, Sheriff Tommy Jones says in part quote, "Do I believe that anyone from my staff is guilty of homicide? The answer is unequivocally no." We tried to talk to Isbell's family again, but were unable to get a response. However, when we did talk to his daughter earlier this summer, she told us her father just wanted to be left in peace.
He wasn't being disorderly. He wanted to be left alone, and he didn't realize what was going on, but he had already been without oxygen.
Sheriff Jones says he remains confident in the professionalism and integrity of everyone in his office. He adds he's also committed to transparency as this situation unfolds. Kim?
Great, thank you. And according to the sheriff, all 7 people in this case are out of jail on bond.
Absolutely wild. You never know what can happen. Same thing, we said that before. You never know what can happen. But they said that one of the nurses falsifying records. One is homicide, basically. Or something like that. Not homicide, but you know what I'm trying to say. But, golly, man. It's a crazy world. I did not know that they still be putting bags over people's head for hours in the jail. I knew about the mouth guard because they don't want you spitting on nobody. Yeah, that's reasonable to me. But a bag over his head for hours, no one's checking on him. That's recklessness, man. I mean, it's the definition of recklessness. But a man lost his life. And they originally had it as it was natural causes, but they went back and overturned it, said it was homicide. So now they got to go through the investigation of who is responsible for his death. So we'll keep up with that to see if we can get any answers about who they're actually going to hold responsible. They had all the people charged. So we got to wonder if all the charges are going to stick. We don't know. But the chief says, do you believe that any of your people are guilty? He unequivocally no. So we just have to wait and see about what's going to go down with this. Absolutely crazy, y'all. Absolutely crazy. Yeah, just be careful, y'all. Please be careful. Look after your older ones, your loved ones. It's a crazy world out here, y'all. It's a crazy world out here. Absolutely crazy. But it's time to. We got to go over to Inglewood. And it looks like an Inglewood man was using a dating app. To murder other men. Yeah, I said it. An Inglewood man was using a dating app to find victims for his murders. It seems like he was going crazy. Let's go over into it. We got 2 videos to watch, but he was wearing a mask, and he was out here hunting for people. Let's get into it.
Now at 11, luring men.
No, I'm sorry. I had to stop it. Look at this man. Oh, God. Look at this man. Out here murdering people. He had a white face mask on. He had the slick hair. The hair. Let's
through a dating app with the intent to kill. Prosecutors say a man from Inglewood killed 2 and tried to kill a 3rd. And NBC4 has confirmed another string of crimes linked to the same man in costume and wearing a Michael Myers mask. Good evening, everyone. I'm Carolyn Johnson. These crimes date back to 2019. And if not for a recent victim escaping, police say he could still be out there. NBC4's Darsha Phillips live in downtown LA now with the details for us. Darsha.
Carolyn, the DA says that this man preyed on his victims. He lured them through an online dating app to a certain location and then attacked him. And then also the DA says that this guy had a very chilling criminal past. Take a look at these photos. These photos of a man wearing a Michael Myers mask is the alleged murderer. According to police, 34-year-old Rockham Prowl burglarized homes in Beverly Hills wearing this mask. Those burglaries happened in 2019 to 2020. Prowl was caught and was put on probation, but his crimes apparently only escalated. Here's some pictures of Prowl without the mask. This is actually his booking photo after he was arrested last week. Prowl was also in court today, facing murder and attempted murder charges. His first victim in July 2021, 51-year-old Miguel Angel King, police say met with Prowl after connecting on a dating app. Now, according to police, Prowl shot King and stole his car and dumped King's body in the Angeles National Forest, where it was found a month later. Then his second victim in August 2023, 53-year-old Robert Gutierrez met Powell on the same online dating site. 2 days later, Gutierrez's family reported him missing. He has never been found. And in February of this year, a 40-year-old man connected with Prowl again on a dating app. When they met up, police say Prowl bound the victim, stole his wallet, and beat him with a baseball bat. The victim managed to escape, but Prowl chased him and struck him with his car, breaking the victim's leg. The victim did survive. Police arrested Prowl last week at his home in Inglewood and say they found his second victim's car parked in his garage and forensic evidence linking him to the first victim and the victim who survived. Now, back here live, the district attorney says if convicted of these charges, Prowl could face the death penalty or life without the possibility of parole. That's the latest from downtown Los Angeles tonight. I'm Darsha Phillips.
Absolutely crazy. The LGBTQIA community, please be aware. I mean, it's just like what with the Netflix Dahmer. Jeffrey Dahmer used to target gay men. Gay black men, but gay men in general. Absolutely crazy. He's finding his victims on these dating apps. Or he did find these victims on the dating apps, and he would pretend to be interested in them just to get close, and then end up robbing them and killing them to take their things. Not just women. We can't just always say women. Men, you have to be careful. You have to be careful. I mean, it's not just this guy. We got to talk about the women who will set up a man. And we got men who will set up a man and a woman who you have to be careful. No matter who you are, no matter what your orientation is, your preferences, it does not matter. You have to be careful when you're meeting new people. Because there are some diabolical people in this world. Some demons who will who will kill you and take your stuff. Be careful. But let's get over into this next video. A little bit more information.
We begin with a shocking double murder. The suspect, police say, met his victims on a dating app.
denied he's charged with killing them. A third man he met on the app managed to escape. We've reported on the suspect before for wearing a rubber mask while burglarizing homes. Fox 11's Laura Diaz live in the Inglewood neighborhood where the suspect used to live. Laura.
Yes, Susan, shock is spreading through this quiet Inglewood neighborhood, as you just reported. What we heard today from prosecutors, they allege that a man who lived in this neighborhood used a dating app to lure his victims and then murdered them. That's what the prosecutor's office is saying. Now, as you can imagine, when people here heard the story, they were really outraged. Let's listen.
We had no idea. It was just a really quiet neighborhood. Never suspected something like that so close to home, literally across the street.
Does it make you nervous?
A little bit.
The suspect was seen here right after his arrest for a series of burglaries. That was in the city of Beverly Hills as well as in L.A. And as you referenced at the top there, Susan, he often wore a mask over his face. That's what prosecutors said. And that's why he was hard to detect initially. Now, we're talking about 34-year-old suspect Rakeem Prowl. Prosecutors charging him with the murder of two men. In 2023, Robert Gutierrez, he met the suspect, according to authorities. His family reported him missing. His body has not been found. And also 2 years before that, Miguel Angel King. Now, Prowl is accused of shooting him dead and then stealing his vehicle. King's remains were found later in the Angeles National Forest. The authorities say that they have strong forensic evidence that they obtained. And again, looking at video that was shot here in Inglewood as people started to hear the story of what authorities are alleging. Now, earlier at 8 o'clock, we told you that we talked to a neighbor who was awakened very early on Friday. He said that he heard a helicopter. It came so low that he thought he could actually see the face of the pilot. That's how low it was flying. Now, he said that authorities were in the quiet neighborhood for about 5 hours. Multiple vehicles, as they poured over that one address, went inside. He said he never saw anybody led away in handcuffs. He didn't even see them carry out boxes. But he did say that they maintained themselves on the premises. Now, as you know, the suspect was in court earlier today in downtown Los Angeles. Our cameras were there, but they were not allowed to photograph the suspect. As far as the formal arraignment, that has been pushed to next month, October 16th. But again, authorities seemingly very proud of themselves today, as they said a series of cold cases where they drew the lines together and came up with this one larger case. But this person is alleged to have murdered two men and attempted murder of a third, but somehow that victim, the alleged victim, was able to get away, and I'm sure will tell a harrowing story one day, but so far not hearing from that last victim. But that is the latest here from Inglewood, sending it back to the studio.
Absolutely crazy. There are some diabolical people in this world. Yep, you said it right. Diabolical work. There's some diabolical people in this world, y'all. Golly. You got to be careful. You have to be careful. But we'll keep up with this to see what actually gets charged with and see if he actually gets the death penalty. I mean, killed two, attempted to kill the third, strings of rock. Yeah, I don't care what it is. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with the death penalty. I'm fine with him staying in jail for the rest of his life. But he cannot be out here with regular citizens anymore. He's lost the privilege. Now, tell me your thoughts, y'all. Do you think what kind? Do you think life, or are you? Do you think life penalty? Do you think the life sentence, or do you think death penalty? I know some people have their issues with the death penalty, so tell me about them. Tell me if you think, tell me if you think that no one deserves the death penalty. But honestly, I think some people shouldn't be on this earth no more. There's some sick, very sick, disturbing human beings that have committed some crazy crimes to where, honestly, I don't know if they need to be on earth anymore. Now, I don't know if that's bad to say or not, but Absolutely crazy, y'all. Absolutely crazy. Now, the last thing, we're going to pivot over into the last thing. The last thing we're going to get into today is, I don't know if y'all remember, but in the past, we reviewed a video of a deputy basically chasing after her sister's boyfriend, ex-boyfriend, something, who took her sister's phone. And the deputy came out. She pulled out a gun and pointed at him and forced him to give her sister's phone back to her. So that was a big video. So we're going to rewatch that, the initial video that I think it was a few months ago, a month or a few months ago. And then now she's been fired. She's been fired. So let's get over into that. And that'll finish us up for today. All right, let's jump right into it and see what it's talking about.
A deputy with the Precinct 1 Constable's office is under an internal affairs investigation. Now, this is after a video posted on social media shows her drawing her weapon against a man during a family dispute while she was off duty.
Now, Fox 26's Jonathan Mejia is live downtown to tell us where this investigation stands tonight. Jonathan.
Yeah, that deputy has been reassigned to desk duties as the investigation continues. Constable Alan Rosen says his office will be transparent with the public with the outcome of that investigation.
It's scary. And the people that we look up to and the people that we call 911 to, you pulling the gun on him. That's crazy to me.
Michael Evans is in a relationship with a deputy's sister. He says it's not the first time he has been a victim of this tactic by this family. So when things were escalating, he called his cousin Keisha, who immediately told him to end the video call and start recording.
I told him to record it. But at that time, she was already chasing him with the window down with a gun out the window. So it wasn't she just was chasing behind him. She literally followed him, went in circles until he just pulled over. Which is crazy.
Fox 26 reached out to Precinct 1 for a statement on this incident, and they said, quote, "What we understand at this point is that this was a family dispute that involved our off-duty deputy. She has been reassigned to desk duty pending the outcome of an internal affairs investigation. The public can be assured that an investigation is underway, and we will be transparent with the outcome." Do you feel like that's adequate response from the constable's office?
No, I don't.
In this case, what do you think should be done to her?
I think she should be charged like anybody else. And I'm not understanding why she don't have an aggravated assault with a deadly weapon warrant out now. If it was anybody else, they'd have put a warrant out before without us even having to go to the police department.
Evans didn't want to talk on camera as he fears for his safety.
You just feel like you're going to take the law in your own hand. You're going to do what you want to do. But because you got a uniform, you feel like it's okay. But the uniform and the badge don't make you do things to people like that. Because what if the gun would have accident went off? Then what y'all would have did?
She ain't have her hand on a trigger.
This is the second viral incident that involves a Harris County deputy. Now, both incidents remain under investigation. Reporting live in downtown.
Absolutely crazy. Yep. So that's the video we initially, well, not that video, but that's the situation we reviewed a few months ago. But now we go over into the video where it talks about her being fired. Now, the sister, I can't think that was the sister of the man who had the gun pointed at him, said that if it happened to anybody else or if it was involved anybody else, they would have immediately already been arrested. I can see that. I don't know why it took so long for the investigation or why she was still on desk duty and not on administrative leave, but that was their decision. But let's get over into this next video and see.
We begin with a Harris County Precinct 1 deputy who was fired after being caught on camera pointing her gun at a man during a family dispute. Tonight, that man is sharing his story with Fox 26's Abigail Dye, including new audio recorded moments before the viral video started rolling.
You've probably seen this video. Now, former Precinct 1 deputy Brittany Brown is seen in uniform, off duty, pointing her weapon at Michael Evans.
Because she literally pulled me over in a regular car with a firearm. She just jumped out the car at that point, ran around to my driver's door and planted the gun in my face. She's using her service pistol in her uniform to bully and oppress me.
Before this, Evans says he got in an argument with his then fiance, who is Brown's sister. He says he took his fiance's phone and drove off. And you said you did take the phone.
I just took the phone, which I bought. So I was going to bring it back to her. I wasn't going to keep her phone. I didn't need it. I just needed that problem to come to a halt and let's talk.
Not long after this happened, Evans says before he hit record, he called his sister, who recently found out that the call captured more audio of the incident.
She didn't answer, so I ended up on answer machine.
Anything I do is justify. I want to phone.
Oh, you heard that?
I'm on duty. Everything I do is just. But I offered her the phone thousands of times.
Precinct 1 launched an internal investigation.
That is wild. Now, you heard what she said. She said, anything I do is justified. That's a scary mindset for someone who's supposed to protect us. It's a very scary thing. That's a very scary mindset.
Investigation that took about a month. And this week, that investigation concluded. The result, Brown being fired.
I feel like there's some justice been done. Some, not all, because, I mean, I feel like if it was me pointing a gun at anyone person, I mean, I probably would have went to jail that day. I feel like if you are on duty, or if you are wearing the uniform of an on-duty officer and using a service pistol, then that's definitely official oppression.
Precinct 1 says they've submitted all of their findings to the Harris County District Attorney's Office. Now it's up to them and a jury to decide if Brown will be criminally charged.
This is wrong. You know, this is wrong. And if our civilians, the Houstonians, have to be held accountable, I feel like the Houstonian officers should be held accountable.
I reached out to Brown's attorney for response, and I have yet to hear back. But when I do, I'll update this story on fox26houston.com.
I mean, he made a good point. He made a good point that if it would have been him, he would have been arrested immediately with charges, probably garnishing a firearm. I think there's probably something about threatening with a deadly weapon. I don't know the exact charges that he would be, but he's gonna have some criminal charges. And it took them a month for them to fire her, and they still haven't even thought about criminal charges. But like that one line that she said just, I mean, seals the deal. She said that I am justified in whatever I do. I'm paraphrasing, of course, but that is what she said. Absolute crazy. Now, will some criminal charges be held? I don't know. Now, here's another question. Do you think that he has the rights for a lawsuit against the police? A good question. She was in a uniform, officially in a uniform, showing her service weapon. Do you think he has the rights for a lawsuit? And would he win? I don't know. That's a question for the lawyers out there. I'm assuming some lawyers are definitely contacting him about it, especially if she doesn't get charged criminally. Yeah, I can see it. But absolutely crazy. But she is fired now, so that's good. Took a month, but that's good. But it's a crazy world, y'all. It's a crazy world. And no one is above the law, no matter what it is. No one is above the law. Absolutely crazy. Let me know your thoughts on any of the videos we talked about. Let me know if you disagree with anything I said. It's a crazy world, y'all, but we got to review it together. But that is it for today's episode of AC Reviews the World. Remember, I am your host, AC the Engineer. Thank you all for tuning in. Leonard, thank you for tuning in. You was in the show. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for anybody who's watching later. Thank you for anybody who tunes in. Thank you for supporting the channel, man. Just remember to hit that like button so your algorithm can be right. Hit that subscribe button so you can be up to date on any of the new videos I drop. And that notification bell so you can be ready. All right, y'all. But that is it for today. I hope you all have a good rest of your day. These videos will be broken down so you can go back and watch the one that you really like. But it's a crazy world, y'all. It's a crazy world. We got to review it together. But you already know how I like to end it. I like to play the outro. that is it for today, y'all. Have a good rest of your day, and y'all will see y'all on. So I'm back to regular time since I'm back working. So Friday it'll be 6 a.m. and then Saturday 8 a.m. But or 8:30. It depends on how I'm feeling on Saturday. So 8 to 8:30. But that is it, y'all. Peace.